Paltrocast.
Tom, how's your day going aside from
It's
answering questions over and over and over again today?
going all right. Where are you at?
Long Island, New York, a place you've played just a few times.
Fantastic. Yep. Go Islanders.
You're wearing the Chicago hat, film about Chicago artists, etc. Are you still in touch with a lot of people from your Illinois roots all these years later?
I am. Like, we were a really close group, like Ike Reilly's wife, for example. We went to kindergarten together, and I saw her a couple of days ago. Yeah, there was a small but very important artistic political community in that very conservative suburb that stuck together, and are really lifelong friends. I bullied a bunch of them into moving out to LA so I could see them more often.
Good bullying. There's good bullying and bad bullying.
Good bullying. There's good bullying.
And I could talk to you all day about your musical influences, but focusing on this film here, IMDb does not show you having produced any films before. Is this your first official executive producer role?
It is, and there's more to come, but this is one that Ike had been working on this movie for a while. I just wanted to help in any way that I could. He's a longtime friend. He's a great artist, and he jokes. He says, if this movie just gets me 10 more gigs a year, it would be worth it. Well, he's an artist that deserves 100 more gigs, a year. We're both from this very interesting town of Libertyville, Illinois, that it forged Marlon Brando. It forged Adam Jones from Tool.
Yes.
I somehow escaped to make music. And it's a very interesting place. And the interesting thing about Ike Reilly is that he never left. He's still, he's lived his entire life within a 1 mile radius, and that certainly affects his poetic lens. And I think as this documentary shows, is a source of strength.
It's been cool to see your musical evolution, where first people knew about you from a funk rock group, which we won't name, and then a rap influencing group. And then over the years, we've seen you be kind of a troubadour and also embrace your glam roots, hence the recent Def Leppard stuff. But was you always a troubadour, singer-songwriter kind of guy?
No, I discovered that later. I was always drawn to hard music, and first that was metal, and then it was punk, and then it was hip hop. And it wasn't until really my 30s where I discovered those first couple Dylan records and Springsteen's Nebraska, and digging back into Woody Guthrie and Joe Hill and Phil Oakes. And I was just like, this music's as hard as anything, man. Like you don't need a wall of Marshall Stacks in order to really be dark. And so that's when I picked up the acoustic guitar, started doing the Night Watchman stuff, which really led to the sort of the enduring artistic relationship with Ike Reilly. In 2007, my first I'd done a lot of Night Watchman protest shows and charity shows, but that was the first tour of the US that I did with him opening up in a van. We toured. This was at the height of Audio Slave's arena rock powers. We the two of us, the two dudes from two Libertyville Wildcats, got in a van and headed across this great land. Visiting Jesse James' home, playing shows at small clubs and at protests, and it really was, it really forged that friendship and made me recognize what a great artist he is.
When I had the pleasure of interviewing Ike and Mike about this film, I made the connection about the Chris Farley thing. Did you ever encounter Chris?
No, I never knew. I know that Chris was a big, was very close friends with Ike, but I never knew.
Got it. Now, how well did Ike know Adam Jones?
No, they're a few years apart, because Adam's 1 year younger than me and Ike's 2 years older than me. So if they've met, it was out here in LA. So that really wasn't a thing. There is something though about that town, and something in it. The specter of Marlon Brando looms large, and the theater, the theater that I went to movies as a kid, is the theater where he sold tickets. It's and so that specter looms large, and I think it does sort of present the idea that, one, it's possible to get out, and two, that there might be something in the water that you could with the right sort of combination of luck and anger, you might be able to tap into.
So it's exciting to hear what you said earlier, that you're executive producing more stuff. Your Sirius XM show, I mentioned to some neighbors I'm speaking with you, and they said, "Oh, say hi to Mary. We love Mary."
I will. As soon as literally get off this call, I'm going to give her a call, see how she's doing today. Yeah.
So there's that. There's the other radio stuff. There's the solo stuff, etc. Now, in terms of future projects, who's the next band that you're going to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Is it the slow career of David Lee?
Mother flipping Maiden, dude. That's been on the top of my list for a while. I feel very very fortunate that they let me into that. I'm not sure how fortunate they feel, but very fortunate that they let me into that room to make my case for the Randy Rhodes's and the Kisses and the Stevie Ray Vaughns and Rush, etc., and Judas Priest and MC5. But Maiden's next.
The last question before I let you go has nothing to do with Don't Turn Your Back on Friday Night. We keep saying that way the SEO picks it up and the clickbait works. Is that I know about your history with Kiss, Def Leppard, all these bands that you were a big fan of. Was there ever an almost jamming with Van Halen moment for you?
No, I did meet Eddie a couple of times, and he was, so the short answer is no, but he was friends with Chris Cornell, and so I sometimes saw him with Chris, and it was, I don't know, it was during his, like, Eddie Van Halen's one of the greatest musicians of all time. I don't know if it was during when he was at the top of his game, though. But I love Eddie, and God bless him. He's the best. Let me say one more thing about Don't Turn Your Back on Friday Night, though. The thing that the analogy that seems most apt about that movie is George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life, where like Ike Reilly really is that character. Like, he's the guy that had these dreams of traveling the world and applying his talents in a way that was going to make him famous. And it didn't work out that way. But because of the path that he did end up in, and the family that he forged, and the friends that he forged, and the town that he's kind of the mayor of, the unofficial mayor of, like, sure. He and I joke, he and I rib each other all the time, but I'll look him in the eyes and tell him, like, dude, you are the richest man in town. It's real, it's true, and it's beautiful, and it is his story and the story of his music that we bring out in this film, which, one, you should discover him and go check out his music and go see him play. But two, just it's a different way to be a rock star, and to have that sort of cutting edge rock and roll music with something that is so authentically wholesome is pretty healing for the soul.
Yes. Well said. I couldn't have said it better, but thank you for the decades of great art. Thanks to Ike for the decades of great art, and looking forward to what's to come from all of you.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much, man.
Paltrocast.